doing what we do, selling, whether you're selling cars, selling furniture, working in the real estate world, whatever you're doing, how are you positioning yourself to give that A+ experience? Hey guys, Latif Kadri here, the BDG Insider. I want to talk about the wow experience. When was the last time you had that A+ knocked out of the park experience where you went somewhere, you bought something, you had a great meal, but you had that one person that made the experience great? Whether you're shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue, you go to dinner at Gibson's or Ruth's Chris, what type of experience are you having? And the flip side of that is what kind of experience are you giving? Because, think about it. If you're at those places and you're spending that kind of money, getting that wow experience, that A+ experience is kind of, part of the price of admission. So doing what we do, selling, whether you're selling cars, selling furniture, working in the real estate world, whatever you're doing, how are you positioning yourself to give that A+ experience? I am reminded of back when I was selling cars. I used to have a desk mate that when he would take it up and they would come back from the test drive, he'd offer them water, and he would go get the cheap, or a cup of coffee, and he'd go get the cheap styrofoam cup, and he'd hit the water fountain, he'd fill the cup up, and he'd bring them that if they wanted water, and if they wanted coffee, he'd bring them, whatever burnt pot we had in the back that day. This is obviously before the days of the, $100 million facilities. Anyways, I always kept a cup of coins in my desk. And whenever we came back from a test drive, I would offer somebody a soft drink, a soda, Coke, whatever, and I would go and I'd get it for them, So if it was a husband and wife, I'd get a couple of them. If it was a whole family, I made sure to get everybody one. And I always did that before we got into the putting them on paper and opening up the negotiation. And I found that when I did that, people were a lot easier to deal with, and I remember talking to an old timer, and he used to call it the power of reciprocity. He said, when you give something to somebody, they are going to give you something in return, no matter how small the token is. And so as you are getting into this game, I recommend that you kind of open your pocketbook a little bit, spend a few bucks here and there. If it costs you $20-25 a week, really track and see what kind of response and what kind of results you get. Because I'll tell you, my friend Stash, who I shared the desk with, he used to have a real hard time with his customers. Everything was a battle. Everything was a battle all the time. And I can't help but think that maybe that one little dollar soda, which back in the 90s, I think it was like 50 cents, that little 50-cent soda could have opened up the lines of communications and at least made a little more friendship. Because I'll tell you what, you go to that Starbucks when they do that pay it forward deal and, you get that free cup of coffee or free cup of tea that somebody in front of you paid forward, it makes you kind of feel good about everything and you have no idea who that person was. So imagine if you're sitting down getting ready to ask somebody to ink up for $50,000, $60,000, sign up on that $600-700 a month payment, take that bump, whatever it is, you got to make sure that you've got them on your side and you guys are becoming friends. It's not just about the smoke and mirrors, the razzle-dazzle, the trial closes. Build some legitimate rapport and really take the opportunity to create that A+ experience. And I'm telling you what, people will not always remember what you say, but they will definitely remember how they felt through the entire process. And if they had been at 2 or 3 other stores talking to other people, or if they remember what their last shopping experience was like, that little cup of coffee, that little soda, that little bottle of water could make all the difference in making a car deal. Latif Kadri, BDG Insider, sell like hell.